Hello and welcome to another episode of Cascadia Mountain Weather. It's Thursday, March 14th, 2024. My name is Kyle McCrone. I'm here with Wyatt Mullen. And this photo shows the sunny, warm conditions we're expecting, but it also kind of highlights some of the danger. You can see like a cornice leaning here. There's probably a lot of potential for avalanches, cornice drops here. So we're going to talk about all the snow that has fallen and then also look at the rapid transition that's going to undergo in the mountains this weekend.
Yeah, so over the past week, we actually had a quite good week, especially in some places. So the Olympics got hammered in the last week, as well as some portions of the North Cascades. Um, Places saw upwards of 40, 50, even 60 inches of snow. That was mostly focused over the weekend into the early part of the week. And then in the last couple of days, we've been transitioning into this new time where we're going to see a lot warmer conditions, a lot drier conditions. Um, Generally, the snow level over the past week was kind of in like the 3 to 4,000 foot level. And we'll go into more details about that in a moment. So looking at our snow water equivalent, as I mentioned last week, the further south you go, the better it is. The further north you go, the worse it is. So, but we've still seen pretty significant recovery over the past couple of weeks. The Olympics are up to about 60% of average. North Cascades are still in kind of the mid 60s, but once you go down towards Mount Rainier and even further south, we're into the green. We're into the kind of that 90 to 110% of average, which is definitely good. We're going to take a hit of that over the next week, but then possibly we'll see some more snow going forward. I wanted to highlight this. So this is showing over the past 3 weeks just how much snow water equivalent we have picked up in the mountains. So if you wanted to think about how much snow has fallen, you could multiply these values by about 10, 8 to maybe 12. So you can see up here at Easy Pass in the far north Cascades, 21.1 inches of snow water equivalent has accumulated since the end of February. So more than 210 inches of snowfall. You can also see a big impact in the Olympics as well, where above 5,000 feet, probably similar amounts, 200, maybe even close to 3 inches of snow have fallen. This is looking at Easy Pass again, just over this time frame, and you can see that we were about 41 inches of snow water equivalent at the beginning of March or towards the beginning of March, and we've bumped up to 62. So once again, showing that 20-inch increase, as well as in the Olympics, where the snow, like the actual water equivalent of the snowfall has doubled in the last couple of weeks. So really, really great for the snowpack, and hopefully we'll still pick up some more after this warm period. So now what's going to happen? So Wednesday, yesterday, was one of the last kind of cooler than normal days. And so you can see that here on, so now when we get into Thursday, we're starting to see some warmth. This is temperatures above normal in degrees Celsius. And as we get into the weekend, so this is looking on Saturday, we're going to see temperatures kind of 10 to 20 degrees Celsius above normal. So 15, even 30 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, especially in the upper elevations. And that will continue throughout the early part of next week. In terms of clouds, we're really not going to see much. As we move forward, we can play this forward. So this is starting Thursday in the afternoon. And we'll just bump this forward, really like maybe some high clouds throughout the weekend, but it is going to be a beautiful day. Or a beautiful weekend. And there might be a little bit of fog early in the mornings, especially along the water, but in the mountains, it is going to be glorious. In terms of temperatures, as I mentioned, like this is the first chance that Seattle might hit 70 for the year. Seattle could hit 70. A lot of areas in the out towards the coast might hit 70. Eastern Washington might get towards 70 as well. So great weekend for like kind of recreating. And even in the high elevations, this is for Snoqualmie Pass, 3,000 feet. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s to low 60s. So pretty warm. What that means is that our snow level is going to bump way up as well. This is looking, so this area right here is for about 4 or 5 p.m. today, and we've already bumped up to 10,000, 11,000 feet. We're really like, you might see some refreezing of the snow in the sheltered areas and north aspects, But and it might just, you might see a little bit of hardening of the snow overnight, but really temperatures aren't going to be that close to freezing overnight. And with freezing levels 10 to 11,000 feet, everything is going to get quite mushy. The next chance of precipitation, maybe next Wednesday. So it really is going to be pretty dry. So this is looking like total accumulated precipitation out through next Wednesday afternoon. So almost a week of dry weather. And then I'll pass it over to Kyle to talk more about the snow conditions.
Thanks, Wyatt. So over the last week, we've seen generally an increase at most of the ski areas, especially up north at Baker. And with all that new snow, that means that there's going to be a lot of warming and a lot of risk for avalanches. This just looks at Baker, and we can see that we've gotten already over 100 inches this March, and that's the first month that we've gone over 100 inches this year, despite us not even being halfway through March. So that's a great sign to see. Now let's talk about avalanches. This is the Canadian Avalanche Center, and they're highlighting a rare extreme forecast in kind of the interior coastal mountains and high throughout the rest of the coastal mountains, so like Whistler and the North Shore Mountains and Vancouver Island. And typically when you get extreme, it's due to like heavy precipitation or like rain on snow, but this is due to the warming. So this is really an extreme warming event. We've had a lot of snow in the North Cascades and the BC coastal mountains over the last few weeks. So there's a lot of lingering weak layers. We have a complex snowpack. And with all this warmth, they're definitely worried about seeing large destructive avalanches, not just your typical wet, loose kind of surface snow sloppy avalanches, but like things going big. So this weekend, it can be tempting to want to get up high in the mountains with nice, sunny weather. But I think the Avalanche centers are doing a good job of making us realize that these kind of big warm-up events can be very destructive and very dangerous in the mountains. So if you're looking to get up high, really be cognizant about avalanche danger, about, what time of day, how warm are the slopes getting. In addition to avalanches, there's other hazards to think about, cornice failures, just like general difficult travel conditions. Likely the snow will be deep mush if it's not early in the morning. And it can be quite unpleasant snow to travel through. This is one particular Northwest Avalanche Center observation that we wanted to highlight. There have been remote triggered avalanches in the Mount Baker backcountry due to buried surface hoar, which is like a weak layer. So this shows that we have like a very wintry, unstable, complex snowpack. And when you add a ton of warming on top of that, we definitely have the potential to see very large destructive avalanches. So outside of avalanches, it will be a very beautiful weekend. And I think that this is one of those times when you just want to maybe take a step back from the mountains, let them do their thing. Hopefully the warmth will shed a lot of the weak layers in the snowpack and make us have a safer snowpack going forward. But I think it's going to be a great weekend for all kinds of other non-wintry activities, such as trail running, mountain biking. There'll probably be some great dry rock climbing at sunnier locations. And who knows, you could even get out on the water and go kayaking. It's really like a beautiful late spring weekend. So the long-term forecast is, after this strong warm-up, kind of a return to a late winter pattern. We're looking at probably below to typical temperatures and relatively wet conditions through the following weekend. So thank you to everyone for listening. We hope you have a fun weekend. Stay safe, enjoy the warm, glorious spring sunshine, and we'll see you next week.